Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome Bon Wilson students. We are in with our another one of our monthly spotlights here. We have Kyle. I met Kyle out on the golf course. Wonderful man, wonderful golfer, great golfer. But we carried on a conversation about some construction trades and what's going on in that industry. So with that, I'd like to allow yourself the opportunity, Kyle, to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kyle Drake. I'm the San Juan County Electrical Inspector. Um, I've been doing it for about 6 years now, but I've been in the electrical trade for 20. And it's there's good jobs out there. It's good work, and you know everybody who had to stay home because of pandemic, I've been going to work every day. I'm a necessary person, so that's what I have to say about it.
All right, and then that's thanks for bringing that up. We did a big push during the spring of we let our students know essential workers and all of the pathways that we offer here at Bon Wilson. They're all the essential pathways, and
Right,
so thank you for bringing that up and
absolutely.
what you're doing. So with that, in your everyday, just your day-to-day travels through with your profession, can you walk us through kind of what a day looks like for you?
Yeah, of course, going to the office at 7. We have a list that people call for inspections daily, and the next day we go out, the next working day. And so we go and we look at our list of inspections, we do some entries into a computer, and then we head out and start looking at work. We only inspect things that people permit. So if there's a construction job going on and there's a building permit, then there's going to be an electrical permit and a plumbing permit and a mechanical permit. And I look at all the electrical work that's done and make sure that it's done per National Electric Code.
Nice. And so with looking at those, kind of going off script here, thinking about looking at or doing the carrying out the inspections on the job site. Being I was in construction with my dad for 12 years, and I've seen some pretty funny stuff, and I've also seen some pretty amazing stuff. Is there one particular inspection that really just you remember?
Numerous, you always remember the bad ones. The,
Yeah.
the, the good the good ones you never there's nothing to remember, nothing really even to look at because it's done right. But we have ground rods that we have to drive at every electrical service that gets installed, and there's it's two when it's a permanent service, and we have temporary services for when there's a construction job going on until the permanent service, till the house is built, let's say. Well, we just have this temporary service, and at them they only need one ground rod. And I went up and I looked at the ground rod and I saw it had been beaten really hard. Like, it took them a lot of work to get it into the ground, but the thing about it was it wasn't shiny. It was old. You could tell it had been beaten on a long time ago, not yesterday or the day that I was there. So I reached down and grabbed it, and I could pull it out of the ground. It's supposed to be an 8-foot ground rod. I can't pull. I'm not strong enough to pull 8 feet out of the ground. But so anyway, I called the contractor and I told him, you're gonna have to have a real ground rod. And he tells me, a full length one? Yeah, yeah, full length one, man. So that's where my job's just to go make sure that even though people want to do it the easy way, I've got to make them do it the right way, and that's always the easy way.
And then that's well said. I've been on that end where it's so tempting to take the easy way out.
Yeah,
It really is, and because it's so much quicker.
yeah,
And I remember I had an inspector tell me one time, what we do is we make sure it's the right way, but we also make sure it's the safe way
correct.
for
Yes,
both the contractor and the homeowner or the business owner. And I remember that really just rung true to me. And it was early on in my construction times of of how he put that, and that's really what inspectors do. Make sure it's done the right way and the safe way.
yeah, and we're out there to protect homeowners from bad contractors and keep them, like you say, keep them safe and keep things done right, and the safe and the right way, just how you put it.
Well, that's good. And I've had to pound those ground rods in, and it's it's some work.
It can be tough.
I'll tell
It
you
can be
that, yeah.
tough.
Based on especially there's so much sandstone in this region.
Right.
Who knows how many times I've run into that. So
Sure.
I can
Sure.
feel for that. All right, moving to the next question is we were talking out loud something, and you had brought up something that was really it just amazed me, and I had heard about it before, but this one really hit home coming from you is the workforce of what's happening. So what we have now is this baby boomer age of it was a massive population. Those of you guys in U.S. history have covered this of this massive population is reaching an age of retirement. And so what we have in the workforce is a lot of people at retirement age, but we also need people to replenish that. Can you continue to elaborate on that? What you've noticed in the
Yeah,
construction trades?
yeah, so as you say, the baby boomers, a lot of them, that was trade work, all the trades was good work for them to get into, and it's made a lot of guys a lot of money. But and then in the meantime, the next generation, which I'm at the end of, Generation X, there's still quite a few guys my age that are doing electric work, but I go out on jobs every day and look at the workforce, and there are very few young people that are out there working. And the truth of the matter is it takes a little hard work to work in the trades. It's not always easy, but it's very satisfying. And one thing that I can tout is that I never have to call an electrician to come to my house. If there's something wrong, I fix it. And I know how to do some plumbing work. I know because I've been around that stuff, and it's given me the opportunity to, well, first of all, that saves me a massive amount of money if something goes wrong. But secondly, I'm capable of taking care of my own stuff, my own problems, and I can use it to go to work every day. As we mentioned earlier, I have not missed one single day because of this pandemic. I'm a necessary worker, so I don't see enough young people coming up. I really would encourage young people to look into the trades, electrical, plumbing, mechanical. There's good money to be made. It just takes, to become a journeyman, it's usually 4 years of work and taking some pretty hard tests. But if you just do what you're supposed to do and learn code and learn what you're doing at your job, it's not that hard, and you can have a lifetime job.
And then that's really well. You touched on, I know being in the construction trade, one of the focuses for my dad and I was if they knew code, how much code did they know? Because you knew they were going to do it right.
Right,
And it takes
right.
time to learn that. It's not something that's very easily attained.
No, especially the coach that sitting down reading a book that, sometimes it doesn't even make sense. You've got to ask somebody, what's this mean? Or where do I go to find this? But once you start learning how it works and where to look, and then your knowledge starts to grow, and at that point you don't have to worry about, bad inspections, or whether your boss is going to be mad that you didn't know what you were doing. It's, you've done your due diligence and you understand what's going on.
That is correct. And I've never had it. I've been blessed with the opportunity to never have that big red sticker on my job.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been blessed with that opportunity, but I have seen some, and I can imagine that would hurt, seeing that red sticker on your work. But with that, as we move forward, I'll elaborate a little bit on this. The job opportunity is there then, right? With this big population that's retiring or
But,
reaching.
there is a lot of people, and of course they want journeyman electrician. I mean, electricians, or any journeyman, that's a high demand. I mean, if you have that license, there is not a guy who knows what he's doing that has a license that doesn't have a job in this town. Everybody needs journeyman, because it's a state law that there has to be a journeyman per so many helpers. So if a contractor puts his workers out on a job and the state shows up and he doesn't have enough journeymen for his workers, well, then they have to shut down the job. So so it's, you know, it's real important to have that qualified person and have that license to be that qualified person. That's just super important. And once you get there, I mean, sky's the limit. You could work anywhere in the world. I mean, electricians are in high demand.
Well, that, really, really good information. The last question I have for you is talking specifically to our students. What advice would you have? Going back to, we have sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We have a big senior class graduating this year. We're a school of about 70, 80 students right now. So big to us would be 40 students,
Okay.
which we're right around there. What, you think back to what you went through in high school, you think back to where you're at now and as going through the process of being a journeyman and becoming an inspector. What advice would you have for our students?
You know, I, I would say if you could get some trade school under your belt, so you've learned some of the code stuff and have a little bit of background, that would be great. But um, just all in all, the biggest piece of advice I would say is get up and go to work. Figure out something that you think you like and go for it. Stick to it. Don't halfway do it. Do it all the way. Learn what's going on. Get yourself whatever license in whatever trade if that's what you choose to do in life, or whatever it is you choose to do in life. If you want to become a doctor, do it now. Start when you're young, get it over with. By the time you're 30 years old, you have a great job and a great career path. If you wait till you're 30 years old, you're never going to get it done. And you're going to be working for some retail store. And when the pandemic hits, you don't get to go to work. I mean, get yourself, I think that's probably, and we talked about it before, the biggest thing is get yourself leverage in a job where you're necessary. And every day you have, no matter what goes on, somebody needs you to go to work. And that to me, it's something I fell into. But somebody who would want to choose that career choice, I highly encourage it, because there's no better feeling than while everybody's sitting at home, you get to go to work. You got to go help them. They need you. And like I mentioned, doctor, any profession that's has a demand. That's what I would say. Retail, we need retail stores and we need retail people, but they're not necessary. There's just pick something that you want to do and run with it and get it done early. I was going to give any advice, get it done early.
And that's really good advice. Find something you love and go get it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great, wonderful advice. Well, Kyle, thanks for taking the time to talk with our students. We really appreciate it.
No
Uh,
problem. No problem. I hope I helped. I hope it's informative in some way.
yes, very, very informative. All right, well, we will catch you guys later. See you, students.